Genesis 28. Then Isaac sent for Jacob, and blessing him said, "Do not take a wife from among the women of Canaan, but go to Paddan Aram, to the house of Bethuel, your mother's father, and there get yourself a wife from the daughters of Laban, your mother's brother. And may God, the ruler of all, give you his blessing, giving you fruit and increase, so that you may become an army of peoples. And may God give you the blessing of Abraham, to you and to your seed, so that the land of your wanderings, which God gave to Abraham, may be your heritage." So Isaac sent Jacob away, and he went to Paddan Aram, to Laban, son of Bethuel, the Aramean, the brother of Rebekah, the mother of Jacob and Esau. So when Esau saw that Isaac had given Jacob his blessing, and sent him away to Paddan Aram to get a wife for himself there, blessing him, and saying to him, "Do not take a wife from among the women of Canaan," and that Jacob had done as his father and mother said, and had gone to Paddan Aram, it was clear to Esau that his father had no love for the women of Canaan. So Esau went to Ishmael, and took Mahalath, the daughter of Abraham's son, Ishmael, the sister of Nebaioth, to be his wife, in addition to the wives he had. So Jacob went out from Beersheba to go to Haran. And, coming to a certain place, he made it his resting place for the night, for the sun had gone down. And he took one of the stones which were there, and putting it under his head, he went to sleep in that place. And he had a dream, and in his dream, he saw steps stretching from earth to heaven, and the angels of God were going up and down on them. And he saw the Lord by his side, saying, "I am the Lord, the God of Abraham, your father, and the God of Isaac. I will give to you, and to your seed, this land on which you are sleeping. Your seed will be like the dust of the earth, covering all the land to the west, and to the east, to the north, and to the south. You, and your seed, will be a name of blessing to all the families of the earth. And truly, I will be with you, and will keep you wherever you go, guiding you back again to this land, and I will not give you up, till I have done what I have said to you." And Jacob, awaking from his sleep, said, "Truly, the Lord is in this place, and I was not conscious of it." And fear came on him, and he said, "This is a holy place, this is nothing less than the house of God, and the doorway of heaven." And early in the morning, Jacob took the stone which had been under his head, and put it up as a pillar, and put oil on it. And he gave that place the name of Bethel, but before that time, the town was named Luz. Then Jacob took an oath, and said, "If God will be with me, and keep me safe on my journey, and give me food, and clothing to put on, so that I come again to my father's house in peace, then I will take the Lord to be my God, and this stone which I have put up for a pillar, will be God's house, and of all you give me, I will give a 10th part to you." Genesis 29. Then Jacob went on his journey, till he came to the land of the children of the east. And there he saw a waterhole in a field, and by the side of it 3 flocks of sheep, for there they got water for the sheep, and on the mouth of the waterhole there was a great stone. And all the flocks would come together there, and when the stone had been rolled away, they would give the sheep water, and put the stone back again in its place, on the mouth of the waterhole. Then Jacob said to the herdsmen, My brothers, where do you come from? And they said, From Haran. And he said to them, Have you any knowledge of Laban, the son of Nahor? And they said, We have. And he said to them, Is he well? And they said, He is well, and here is Rachel, his daughter, coming with the sheep. Then Jacob said, The sun is still high, and it is not time to get the cattle together. Get water for the sheep, and go, and give them their food. And they said, We are not able to do so, till all the flocks have come together, and the stone has been rolled away from the mouth of the waterhole. Then we will get water for the sheep. While he was still talking with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she took care of them. Then, when Jacob saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban, his mother's brother, coming with Laban's sheep, he came near, and rolling the stone away from the mouth of the hole, he got water for Laban's flock. And weeping for joy, Jacob gave Rachel a kiss. And Rachel, hearing from Jacob that he was her father's relation, and that he was the son of Rebekah, went running to give her father news of it. And Laban, hearing news of Jacob, his sister's son, came running, and took Jacob in his arms, and, kissing him, made him come into his house. And Jacob gave him news of everything. And Laban said to him, Truly, you are my bone and my flesh. And he kept Jacob with him for the space of a month. Then Laban said to Jacob, Because you are my brother, are you to be my servant for nothing? Say now, what is your payment to be? Now Laban had 2 daughters, the name of the older was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. And Leah's eyes were clouded, but Rachel was fair in face and form. And Jacob was in love with Rachel, and he said, I will be your servant 7 years for Rachel, your younger daughter. And Laban said, It is better for you to have her than another man. Go on living here with me. And Jacob did 7 years' work for Rachel, and, because of his love for her, it seemed to him only a very little time. Then Jacob said to Laban, Give me my wife, so that I may have her, for the days are ended. And Laban got together all the men of the place, and gave a feast. And, in the evening, he took Leah, his daughter, and gave her to him, and he went into her. And Laban gave Zilpah, his servant girl, to Leah, to be her waiting woman. And, in the morning, Jacob saw that it was Leah, and he said to Laban, What have you done to me? Was I not working for you so that I might have Rachel? Why have you been false to me? And Laban said, In our country, we do not let the younger daughter be married before the older. Let the week of the bride feast come to its end, and then we will give you the other in addition, if you will be my servant, for another 7 years. And Jacob did so, and when the week was ended, Laban gave him his daughter, Rachel, for his wife. And Laban gave Rachel, his servant girl, Bilhah, to be her waiting woman. Then Jacob took Rachel as his wife, and his love for her was greater than his love for Leah, and he went on working for Laban for another 7 years. Now the Lord, seeing that Leah was not loved, gave her a child, while Rachel had no children. And Leah was with child, and gave birth to a son to whom she gave the name Reuben, for she said, The Lord has seen my sorrow, now my husband will have love for me. Then she became with child again, and gave birth to a son, and said, Because it has come to the Lord's ears that I am not loved, he has given me this son in addition, and she gave him the name Simeon. And she was with child again, and gave birth to a son, and said, Now, at last, my husband will be united to me, because I have given him 3 sons, so he was named Levi. And she was with child again, and gave birth to a son, and she said, This time I will give praise to the Lord, so he was named Judah. After this, she had no more children for a time. Genesis 30. Now, Rachel, because she had no children, was full of envy of her sister, and she said to Jacob, "If you do not give me children, I will not go on living." But Jacob was angry with Rachel, and said, "Am I in the place of God, who has kept your body from having fruit?" Then she said, "Here is my servant, Bilhah. Go into her, so that she may have a child on my knees, and I may have a family by her." So she gave him her servant, Bilhah, as a wife, and Jacob went into her. And Bilhah became with child, and gave birth to a son. Then Rachel said, "God has been my judge, and has given ear to my voice, and has given me a son," so he was named Dan. And, again, Bilhah, Rachel's servant, was with child, and gave birth to a second son. And Rachel said, "I have had a great fight with my sister, and I have overcome her," and she gave the child the name Naphtali. When it was clear to Leah that she would have no more children for a time, she gave Zilpah, her servant, to Jacob as a wife. And Zilpah, Leah's servant, gave birth to a son. And Leah said, "It has gone well for me," and she gave him the name Gad. And Zilpah, Leah's servant, gave birth to a second son. And Leah said, "Happy am I, and all women will give witness to my joy," and she gave him the name Asher. Now, at the time of the grain cutting, Reuben saw some love fruits in the field, and took them to his mother, Leah. And Rachel said to her, "Let me have some of your son's love fruits." But Leah said to her, "Is it a small thing that you have taken my husband from me? And now would you take my son's love fruits?" Then Rachel said, "You may have him tonight, in exchange for your son's love fruits." In the evening, when Jacob came in from the field, Leah went out to him, and said, "Tonight, you are to come to me, for I have given my son's love fruits as a price for you." And he went into her that night. And God gave ear to her, and she became with child, and gave Jacob a fifth son. Then Leah said, "God has made payment to me for giving my servant girl to my husband," so she gave her son the name Issachar. And again, Leah became with child, and she gave Jacob a sixth son. And she said, "God has given me a good bride price. Now, at last, will I have my husband living with me, for I have given him 6 sons, and she gave him the name Zebulun. After that, she had a daughter, to whom she gave the name Dinah. Then God gave thought to Rachel, and hearing her prayer, he made her fertile. And she was with child, and gave birth to a son. And she said, "God has taken away my shame." And she gave him the name Joseph, saying, "May the Lord give me another son." Now, after the birth of Joseph, Jacob said to Laban, "Let me go away to my place, and my country. Give me my wives, and my children, for whom I have been your servant, and let me go, for you have knowledge of all the work I have done for you." And Laban said, "If you will let me say so, do not go away. For I have seen by the signs, that the Lord has been good to me, because of you. Say, then, what your payment is to be, and I will give it." Then Jacob said, "You have seen what I have done for you, and how your cattle have done well under my care. For before I came, you had little, and it has been greatly increased, and the Lord has given you a blessing in everything I have done. But when am I to do something for my family?" And Laban said, "What am I to give you?" And Jacob said, "Do not give me anything, but I will again take up the care of your flock, if you will only do this for me. Let me go through all your flock today, taking out from among them all the sheep, which are marked, or colored, or black, and all the marked, or colored goats. These will be my payment. And so you will be able to put my honor to the test in time to come. If you see among my flocks any goats which are not marked, or colored, or any sheep which is not black, you may take me for a thief." And Laban said, "Let it be as you say." So, that day, he took all the he-goats, which were banded, or colored, and all the she-goats, which were marked, or colored or had white marks, and all the black sheep, and gave them into the care of his sons, and sent them 3 days' journey away. And Jacob took care of the rest of Laban's flock. Then Jacob took young branches of trees, cutting off the skin so that the white wood was seen in bands. And he put the banded sticks in the drinking places where the flock came to get water. And they became with young, when they came to the water. And because of this, the flock gave birth to young, which were marked with bands of color. These lambs Jacob kept separate, and he put his flock in a place by themselves, and not with Laban's flock. And, whenever the stronger ones of the flock became with young, Jacob put the sticks in front of them in the drinking places, so that they might become with young, when they saw the sticks. But when the flocks were feeble, he did not put the sticks before them, so that the feebler flocks were Laban's, and the stronger were Jacob's. So Jacob's wealth was greatly increased, he had great flocks, and women servants, and men servants, and camels, and asses. Genesis 31. Now, it came to the ears of Jacob, that Laban's sons were saying, Jacob has taken away all our father's property, and in this way, he has got all this wealth. And Jacob saw that Laban's feeling for him was no longer what it had been before. Then the Lord said to Jacob, Go back to the land of your fathers, and to your relations, and I will be with you. And Jacob sent for Rachel and Leah to come to him in the field, among his flock. And he said to them, It is clear to me that your father's feelings are no longer what it was to me. But the God of my father has been with me, and you have seen how I have done all in my power for your father. But your father has not kept faith with me, and 10 times he has made changes in my payment. But God has kept him from doing me damage. If he said, All those in the flock which have marks are to be yours, then all the flock gave birth to marked young. And if he said, All the banded ones are to be yours, then all the flock had banded young. So God has taken away your father's cattle, and has given them to me. And, at the time when the flock were with young, I saw in a dream, that all the he-goats, which were joined with the she-goats, were banded, and marked, and colored. And in my dream, the angel of the Lord said to me, Jacob. And I said, Here am I. And he said, See how all the he-goats are banded, and marked, and colored. For I have seen what Laban has done to you. I am the God of Bethel, where you put oil on the pillar, and took an oath to me. Now then, come out of this land, and go back to the country of your birth. Then Rachel and Leah said to him in answer, What part or heritage is there for us in our father's house? Are we not as people from a strange country to him? For he took a price for us, and now it is all used up. For the wealth, which God has taken from him, is ours, and our children's. So now, whatever God has said to you, do." Then Jacob put his wives, and his sons, on camels, and sending on before him all his cattle, and his property which he had got together in Paddan Aram, he made ready to go to Isaac, his father, in the land of Canaan. Now Laban had gone to see to the cutting of the wool of his sheep. So Rachel secretly took the images of the gods of her father's house. And Jacob went away secretly, without giving news of his flight to Laban, the Aramean. So he went away, with all he had, and went across the river, in the direction of the hill country of Gilead. And on the third day, Laban had news of Jacob's flight. And taking the men of his family with him, he went after him, for 7 days, and overtook him in the hill country of Gilead. Then God came to Laban, in a dream by night, and said to him, "Take care that you say nothing good or bad to Jacob." Now, when Laban overtook him, Jacob had put up his tent in the hill country, and Laban, and his brothers, put up their tents in the hill country of Gilead. And Laban said to Jacob, "Why did you go away secretly, taking my daughters away, like prisoners of war? Why did you make a secret of your flight, not giving me word of it, so that I might have sent you away, with joy and songs, with melody and music? You did not even let me give a kiss to my sons and my daughters. This was a foolish thing to do. It is in my power to do you damage. But the God of your father came to me this night, saying, 'Take care that you say nothing good or bad to Jacob.' And now, it seems, you are going, because your heart's desire is for your father's house. But why have you taken my gods?" And Jacob, in answer, said to Laban, "My fear was that you might take your daughters from me, by force. As for your gods, if any one of us has them, let him be put to death. Make search before us all, for what is yours, and take it." For Jacob had no knowledge that Rachel had taken them. So Laban went into Jacob's tent, and into Leah's tent, and into the tents of the 2 servant women, but they were not there, and he came out of Leah's tent, and went into Rachel's. Now Rachel had taken the images, and had put them in the camel's basket, and was seated on them. And Laban, searching through all the tent, did not come across them. And she said to her father, "Let not my lord be angry, because I do not get up before you, for I am in the common condition of women." And, with all his searching, he did not come across the images. Then Jacob was angry with Laban, and said, "What crime or sin have I done, that you have come after me with such passion? Now that you have made search through all my goods, what have you seen which is yours? Make it clear now before my people, and your people, so that they may be judges between us. These 20 years, I have been with you, your sheep, and your goats, have had young without loss, not one of your he-goats have I taken for food. Anything which was wounded by beasts, I did not take to you, but myself, made up for the loss of it. You made me responsible for whatever was taken by thieves, by day or by night. This was my condition, wasted by heat in the day, and by the bitter cold at night. And sleep went from my eyes. These 20 years, I have been in your house. I was your servant for 14 years, because of your daughters, and for 6 years, I kept your flock, and 10 times, was my payment changed. If the God of my father, the God of Abraham, and the fear of Isaac, had not been with me, you would have sent me away with nothing in my hands. But God has seen my troubles, and the work of my hands, and this night he kept you back." Then Laban, answering, said, "These women are my daughters, and these children, my children, the flocks, and all you see are mine. What now may I do for my daughters, and for their children? Come, let us make an agreement, you and I, and let it be for a witness between us." Then Jacob took a stone, and put it up as a pillar. And Jacob said to his people, "Get stones together," and they did so, and they had a meal there, by the stones. And the name Laban gave it was, Jegasahadutha. But Jacob gave it the name of Gilead. And Laban said, "These stones are a witness between you and me, today." For this reason, its name was Gilead, and Mizpah, for he said, "May the Lord keep watch on us, when we are unable to see one another's doings. If you are cruel to my daughters, or if you take other wives in addition to my daughters, then though no man is there to see, God will be the witness between us." And Laban said, "See these stones, and this pillar, which I have put between you and me, they will be witness, that I will not go over these stones to you, and you will not go over these stones, or this pillar, to me, for any evil purpose. May the God of Abraham, and the God of Nahor, the God of their father, be our judge." Then Jacob took an oath by the fear of his father, Isaac. And Jacob made an offering on the mountain, and gave orders to his people to take food, so they had a meal, and took their rest that night, on the mountain. And early in the morning, Laban, after kissing and blessing his daughters, went on his way back to his country.